Today we're going to complain about eye drops and pollen.
I'm gonna kudos the eye drops. I'm not gonna complain about them because they are ultimately my friend. Except for, you know what's not my friend?
Male
Pla-
trees.
plastic.
Oh.
Well, okay, male trees also.
Well, it's the male
Male,
trees that spit all that shit in the air that ends up in our eyes and in our cars and up our noses. And it's like, oh, patriarchy strikes again.
I mean, I feel like that's the male MO is everything gets in your nose. I don't fucking
What?
know. I don't ask. Whose fucking idea was it to record our kvetch this early?
Yours.
All right. Well, uh, I have some feedback that our kvetches are very entertaining as well as talk about serious stuff. So if that is true for anyone still listening, because you might have dialed out already because we were talking about tree spooge, that this will be an extra entertaining version podcast issue episode.
Sure. I also, I have another story of me yelling at cars
Okay, cool. Yeah.
in
What?
downtown like I'm mentally ill.
No comment. All right. Welcome to the Wednesday Kvetch. We're going to start with Kat yelling at cars.
Well, so the other night I was grabbing food with a friend and we get to a crosswalk and the cars stopped like they're supposed to. So we paused for like a moment to make sure that they were actually going to stay stopped because this is Portland.
Right.
And then we start crossing the street. And then this one Tesla, fuck you, Tesla, starts coming towards us. And so we back up, back onto the curb. And as we do, the guy rolls down his window and gives us the finger. And I just start yelling, fuck you, you fucking Tesla, you dumb fuck. Fuck you. Fuck you. We had the right of way. And he has an Uber sign in his window. And I'm like, fuck you. You can't pay for your fucking car. So you got to drive for Uber. Go fuck yourselves. And I yelled it so loud, it was echoing. And it's like, yeah, I sound like I'm mentally ill.
You sound like a New Yorker. Okay, still, most New Yorkers are not well.
I mean,
Let's
the things that New Yorkers do probably could get classified as mentally ill, but
Yeah.
it's like you stopped and then you went and then you give me the finger where I have the right of way. I hesitated to make sure you weren't going to jump it and you did anyway, you dumb shit. So it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, no. Well, that's not mentally ill at all. That's just fucking demanding accountability, right?
Again.
But for the record, I don't think I know anyone who I appreciate and who is present who is not mentally ill at the moment. So let's just say this is normative,
Okay.
a normative existence. But I can't think of a better segue, not the rolling thing, but actual segue into my main rant. Sorry, my kvetch. I had a bunch of things on my mind, and I'm doom scrolling this morning.
Don't do that.
I hate it. I like I want to disassociate. I can't. I can't disassociate. What is wrong with me? I need lithium or Valium, Quaaludes. I don't need any of that. We're just kidding, Nancy Reagan. Oh my God, Nancy. Okay. I need to be medicated. Anyway,
Nancy
one way
Reagan
or
was the
another,
blowjob queen, right?
back to Spooge. Um,
And we're out. Goodbye.
and we're out. Hey, nice talking to you, Aquafina. No, we're saving those for the big episodes.
Mhm.
Because you'll eventually run out of Asians.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
No. Anyway, okay, focus. Oregonian Editorial Board. This is a good one. It's timely from your intro to recent experiences to our conversation with Counselor Green. But the title is Editorial Valley, which I don't know what the fuck that means. Another death to capitalism in scare quotes proposal from Portland City Council. Because Portland City Council is trying to kill capitalism, and how they plan on doing it this time apparently is another week, another head scratcher of a proposal circulated at Portland City Hall. This time, two counselors are exploring whether to cap how much Uber and Lyft ride hailing services may keep from passengers' fares. By dictating allowable share for companies, the thinking goes, the city can ensure Uber and Lyft's contracted drivers get a bigger cut. Yep, that sounds like that's killing capitalism right there. Now, yes, Uber had said, yeah, if you're going to cap our profit margins, then we're going to leave. No, they're fucking not. They make a couple arguments. They say, why aren't we doing this in a thoughtful way? Why does Portland City Council have to go for the juggler? And even Alana Purtle Guinea and that conservative Steve Novick, they don't quite say it that way, are on board with this. And then they go into detail about how they're exploring it and trying to do it in a mindful, informed way rather than just a radical way. So they counter their entire argument to begin with in it. But what they really get down into that really fucking pissed me off was that Uber claims that drivers are making $38 an hour. They are fucking not making $38 an hour. And Steve Novick came up with a number of $12 an hour. The editorial goes on to moan about the fact that this is supposed to be gig positions. So drivers should know that this isn't supposed to be a sustainable way to make a living and it's just extra. And they know what they're getting into when they sign up, which I'm pretty sure was the same argument the coal barons made when parents had their 9-year-old children going down into the mines to dig coal. It's like, you don't have to send your kid down there. Your 9-year-old could get another job elsewhere. And they literally say that if they don't want to be working for these low ass fucked up wages, that they could always find work elsewhere. Then they argue that it's unfair to these big companies that are bringing these opportunities in and that this is never intended to be a full-time job. Why then do Uber and Lyft both offer programs for people to rent cars on a weekly basis or on a daily basis if it's only a few hours extra here on top of your own job? And why do you think people are doing this full time to make ends meet? Because, gee, I don't know, maybe there aren't other fucking jobs out there. It's such an ill informed and intellectually dishonest argument that this will kill capitalism. But to add to it, I had the opportunity to take 2 Lyft rides this past Friday. Our first driver, she had just started a week earlier. She's renting the car. She does work full time and can't make ends meet.
Mhm,
So she's driving after hours when she can and giving her tips on have some water bottles, have some super
mhm,
absorbent barf bags, have pepper spray gel, all these things, because she's worried about when she's going to go, where she's going to go, what hours she can pick up. And she is a woman, inherent danger to begin with driving, right? So this idea that $12 an hour is reasonable to begin with when you have all these factors is fucking bullshit. On top of that, our drive back, it was rainy, it was dark, and our driver got a flat tire going over a curb trying to turn around and had to sit and wait for however long to get help. My friend was able to have a conversation with him and check on him, make sure he was okay. They pay all repairs to the cars. If they don't take out the insurance on the rental, it's out of their own pocket. Once you pay all the extra insurance and everything, it's not even $12 an hour. It sure as fuck isn't $38 an hour. It's such a stupid fucking argument. And with everything going on in the world in Portland, that they devote an entire, very long editorial on it, just really fucking pissed me off because it's just bullshit to begin with. I'll one last argument. If you hire someone and you can't pay them a living wage, your business isn't viable. You shouldn't be allowed to be in business. Period. That's it.
It's not capitalism.
Fuck capitalism.
Here's the reality is that actually this country wants to go back to slavery.
Well, that would solve a lot of problems, actually.
Which is why we have self-driving cars, robotic delivery services,
Yes.
robots doing some tasks that people don't need to do, so the robots can work 24 hours a day. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as vacation. There's no such thing as overtime. They don't get paid. We would
This
love to
is
go
correct.
back to a slave system in which profits are maximized and paying people a living wage doesn't even factor in anymore. I used to drive for Lyft. And I
I
used to
did
do
as
Grub
well.
and I used to do Grubhub back when we actually got a bigger cut, if you
Yeah.
remember.
They
Even
keep
then, yeah. No, no, as the time has gone on, they've cut more and more and they keep more and the prices have gone up to the passenger paying, but the driver themselves is still only getting what they get. I think I only got like $12 an hour back then too,
Yeah.
unless I was going to do weekends. But weekend at night meant potentially drunk people in my car throwing up or a bunch
Yeah.
of guys being assholes and stuff like that. What I loved was driving college kids home from their job at the mall or driving a mom home from something with her kids or taking people to the airport. Taking people
Yeah.
to the airport was the most pleasant because they were excited to go away, often
Yeah.
very, very kind people. But the drunk assholes who want to go
Yeah.
out to fucking Moda Center or the bro who wants to go catch soccer, go fuck yourselves. And they
Yeah.
didn't tip either. And they would get mad if I couldn't get them right to the door. And it's like, I can't get you to the door because there's fucking traffic. Do you want to wait 5 more minutes? Or you want to hoof it?
Yeah.
But
No, I
the price they pay out, it's not worth it. I mean, honestly, it's not.
it's not. One of the things that when I was doing gig economy work, I did Lyft, I did DoorDash, and I did Amazon Flex.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Flex was my favorite because I just got to be chill and only interact with people when I delivered stuff. But I was doing DoorDash. I was waiting on a pie from Sizzle Pie. They were really busy, so I had to wait about 10 minutes, 15 minutes just to get the pie, which means I'm losing money. And while I'm sitting there with the cashier was like, "Hey, man, come over here for a second." I'm like, "Yeah, like, can we get you a slice and a drink?" And I'm like, "I'm kinda poor right now." They're like, "No, no, it's on the house." I was like, "You're serious? That's amazing." And they're like, "Yeah, no, you're working stiff like us."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was awesome. I'm
No, it
getting
is.
teary-eyed thinking about it. It was just people were really, really kind who were working also just grueling type low-wage jobs. And it was a survival strategy. I was trying to do 3 or 4 gig jobs to work full time because I don't know, my employer with the city of Portland was not a great employer, and I wound up unemployed when I could at least, afford it. Anyway, people who are doing this type of work are desperate. They have to make extra money or it's going to be their main job. And treating it as anything other than people who are trying to do work just to stay ahead of things is just hateful. And if that means that's anti capitalist, then it's anti capitalist because capitalism's hateful. So fucking accept it. And the idea that people are putting their lives on the line driving in the city with all the problems it has, taking on passengers who are unhinged and dangerous or going to barf all over your car is unacceptable to think that $12 an hour is a reasonable thing.
Yeah.
Fuck $38 an hour if they were making that, which they're not, is barely acceptable.
No, and the reason we all did it is because we needed cash on hand quickly and we'd worry about oil changes and mileage wearing down on the
Oh,
car
yeah.
itself later. You know, it's like I'll worry about that tire rotation 3 months from now, but I
Yep.
gotta make $100 this month to pay electricity. And maybe you have a job aside from this, or this is your main thing because right now you can't afford just unemployment, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, the folks who are driving around in their fancy ass Teslas who get it just for this, it really is a zero sum. Like that's a bad idea. And we all know this. But
Yeah.
it also does not give you agency to be a dick while you're driving.
No, it does not. Don't
No,
be a dick. I
no.
had one last anecdotal piece of it is I was driving, I was in a Lyft ride I think last summer or something, and another Lyft driver or an Uber driver pulled next to him before he could pull out to let a ride out in the middle of the street. And we're both sitting there going, "What the fuck is this guy doing? We can't move." And the guy rolls down his window. It's like, "Hey, dude, you're screwing up my ride." And the other guy's like turns back around and then leaves, and we can go. And we're like, we're on the same team. Don't treat other people like this, and don't yell at your fucking passenger.
I don't.
It's bad fucking business, dumbass. Anyway,
Yeah.
speaking of things,
Yes. What else?
I have a new addition to my my
Oh,
dumpster fire plus This Is Fine. You can see I have a Casey Grain This Is Fine dog up there. They've merged them together. This makes me so happy. It's gonna be in the back of every business meeting I have and every interview we do. Casey Green, love you, man. And, I forget who, 100% Soft, I think, is the company that makes the lights behind me and stuff. Great stuff. As long as we're merchandising, you too can have a lovely, freshly printed Progress Portland mug, 15 ounces. Why am I not drinking from a Progress Portland mug when I'm drinking coffee on the podcast?
because
I
there's
am
something wrong
bad at
with you.
I'm bad at capitalism. Fuck it. Don't buy our fucking mugs. Fuck capitalism, man. Actually, buy our
Shut the
mugs.
fuck up, Kip.
We that's over there.
Oh, okay.
I have that one. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Kip. Um,
Let's move on as we're talking about the Oregonian editorial and things like that. Brian Oendorf,
yeah,
Doff has
Dorf,
as you
Dork.
know, his lovely little Substack. He went and decided to go shit on the PSU study about homelessness that came out last week, saying that it's a fucking lie and none of it's true, and that the rent being too high is not the reason. It's because you're all a bunch of fucking addicts. So somebody put that on Facebook on the Lentz Neighbor Association, that the conservative assholes. And I didn't read it because I don't want to read anything that Brian writes, but it's the same shit over and over again. That if they just pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, if they didn't do any drugs, if they could just get a job, maybe they need to leave the city. Maybe I know what's right for the city. And it's like, you're a fuck. You're a fuck. Go fall in a volcano. It's really early. I don't have a lot of good words. I'm not very intelligent today.
No, that is fine. The CEO and principal of, hold on a second. What's the name of it? BMO Commercial Real Estate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, weren't they? I don't want to talk out of turn because I don't know the details, but I know who you're talking about, and I have seen him in Judge Simon's courtroom.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's an absolute piece of work. I caught myself. It's tired fucking shit.
Mhm.
You want to go back to the Reagan era, go back to the Reagan era, but get the fuck out of this era because I don't know if people have realized this that have way too much money and power and influence, but there's a lot of people out there that are really, really fucking struggling and kind of fed up. So I don't know if there's any periods of history that we could look at that could kind of foretell what potentially could be coming. Maybe the late 1700s, there might be a few instances of people who are fed up with being taxed into the ground and getting nothing out of it, or just aristocrats saying, just do better and stuff like that, and see what happens from that. I don't know. Not that I'm suggesting that, the French Revolution is a great model, but I'm not saying it's the worst. There were revolutions, I think, in this country. Of course, it's because mostly slave owners didn't want their goods to be taxed by the king. But, that's just a little tiny detail.
Again, a
Um,
reason why we don't like the title "No Kings" for the protests.
this is exactly let's talk about Viktor Orban
Oh yeah.
and how JD Vance, everything he touches dies, including a pope. He killed the pope. He killed the previous pope. He there's like 4 or 5 instances of every time he speaks up or gets involved, he berated Zelensky for his attire in the White House, and then Ukraine had a major advance in the war. They flew him to campaign with Viktor Orban, who got crushed in the polls, just absolutely blown out of the water. Orban actually conceded within minutes of the polls ending, which most authoritarian dictators don't do. And then he flew to Iran to do a deal, and Iran came out saying, fuck you. We're turning up the heat, actually. The dude kills everything he touches. I bet there is like,
Can he
uh,
touch Trump?
looks like he has,
Just
because
pop him in
Trump's,
just boop him in the face?
well, touch him on the nose. That would be great.
Yeah, kind of like,
But
oh, did you ever see the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I've seen Shakes the Clown.
No, not the
I
same.
don't think I've seen Killer Clowns from Outer
One of
Space.
this, it's a B movie, horror movie. One of the scenes is you boop them in the nose, and when you pop their little clown nose, like that's the end of them, like their head explodes or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a great that's great information for the future clown invasion.
So could he do that? I mean, he's like the opposite of what's the fairy tale, King Midas, where everything he touches turns to gold, everything JD Vance's touches dies.
Yeah, dies, withers. Let's hope. Well, I am guessing that if you dig up his backyard, there's a bunch of couches that have just turned into living room furniture, because he.
Yeah, no, I don't want. I
No,
don't.
okay.
No, no.
I thought it was going to be funny, but after I said it out loud, I'm like, why? Why? Why did I start this?
I don't know.
Why did why did I open that door?
Gig economy, allergies, couch fucking.
Couch fucking. Yeah.
I did write a letter to the editor to the Oregonian last week. We'll see if they ever
Yeah.
publish it. They probably won't, and I'm okay with that. I just needed to kvetch directly for once.
What
And
was the topic?
the usual homelessness and Wilson and can I borrow money to pay for my bullshit that is failing, please? It was all that shit.
I don't understand. This is one of the reasons why I supported Lee Vastas for mayor, because we talked to her and we endorsed her. And the reason she was our top pick was she's like, I don't know how to run a city, but there are a lot of people out there that know how to solve a lot of problems. I'm going to surround myself with them. And I'm going to be the person who's going to be out there talking with people and community and hearing and listening and having smart people around me to fix problems. And I'm like, I'm voting for your ass, right? Because that is it. Anybody, we talked about this, about anybody who thinks they're the smartest person in the room at any given time is not to be trusted.
Nope.
And there are so many bad ideas, and this isn't new for Portland city mayors, right? But there's so many bad ideas coming out of that office that it's sort of like, let's just lob things over the wall and see what sticks.
Mhm.
And hope that something good comes out of it, rather than a well thought out strategic plan. Sunstone Way is going to lay off all 175 workers. All the shelters are going to close. I haven't seen an inkling of a news article or idea of how the city and county and Gresham, because they're impacted too. They're managing one of the shelters in Gresham. How they're going to deal with any of this is going to put hundreds of people in the streets and almost 200 people out of work.
Yep. And for the other service providers and supporters in that industry, there's been this breakdown in terms of, do we support the employees or do we just keep moving on in a sense and be like, hey, we need something to solve homelessness? And it's like, I mean, I didn't describe that well, but basically there's been a thing of, do we go and like strike with workers, or do we keep our mouths shut because we're afraid if we're next? Some of them are fucking afraid because they might not get their grant from the city, or they might not get their cut from what's being discussed right now on city council of what to do with the PHB money. And I've been watching this and it's like, these are the people who keep your shelter open. These are the people who keep your day center open. And you're not going to go and stand in solidarity with them because you're an executive director and you're fucking afraid. Meanwhile, we have other day centers that are open and closed intermittently. Nobody knows when. I got people who are on the street saying, I'm giving up on places like Join, whose day center is not open 5 days a week like it's supposed to. And nobody knows when. And then it puts more pressure on the other shelters. And then when we say we need to stand with the folks who are on the ground, busting their ass, seeing this shit day in, day out, the people who are like, thank you for wanting to work in this community because it's fucking hard. It'll break your heart. Somebody you see 3 days a week, the next day they get hit by a car or they OD and they're dead. And we don't have time to process that. We're not
Yeah.
going to stand by them. We're not going to support them. We're not going to make sure that they have what they need. And we're going to let somebody like asshole from Sunstone Way fuck around. And then another leadership says, I can't stand with them because I might not get money from Mayor Wilson. Then go fuck themselves.
Yeah. No, the system's deeply, deeply broken. And I don't, again, I don't have an answer for it other than
Do better.
do better. It's not that hard to just, I mean, if Owen Dorf,
Dick.
I'll go with Dorf, Owen Dorf. This is all satire, by the way. We're not defaming anybody. This is all satire. It's called the Kvetch. It's a satirical podcast.
It's a
For the
Mad
record,
TV skit.
it's fucking half the time I think life is.
What if it was the SNL skit of the 3 women on the radio show when Betty White was on and it's like, oh, I like your sweaty balls.
That bothered me so much. That was just such it was such and in the best ways. So sort of like some of the moments on the Larry Sanders show.
Like,
May
hey,
may
Kip, you want to check out my muffin top?
It's just kinda exactly. Just kinda like Ari's just like, "Oh, God." My favorite Larry Sanders moment is when Hank and Larry are having a screaming match, or Hank is the sidekick for Larry Sanders, and, is yelling at Larry. It's like, "You don't respect me. You laughed at me because I cracked a tooth when I fell into a urinal." And Larry's like, Hank, it it was a back tooth. I still don't know how you did that." And I'm just like, "Oh, man." God, I can't think of the actor's name. I love him so much. He passed away. Rip
Okay.
Torn? um, who is meeting the new head of the network, who happens to be a woman, who is really doesn't like the show and is like austerity measures and threatening them. Rip's character walks over to her in the hallway and goes, "I killed a man like you in Korea." And I'm just kind of like, my brain, this is funny, but it's all wrong. Anyway, yeah, so it feels like a parody sometimes. It really does.
Well, couldn't
And
it be a
and
good parody, like an Ab Fab episode or something?
yeah, or colon blow.
Mm.
That was one of my favorite commercial, or even better when Dan Aykroyd on Saturday Night Live back in the early days did the blender. It was the Bassomatic. It was where it's like, now when you go fishing, when you get back, you don't have to clean and gut your fish. You just take your freshly caught fish, and he picks up a big ass bass, drops it into a blender, turns it on, and the lid starts coming off, and he gets sprayed with bass guts, and he starts losing character, and he goes back into character with the Bassomatic, and I'm just like,
That's
"Okay,
right.
that's funny ass fucking shit. Go look it up, kids.
Yep.
It's on the
No, that's
YouTubes."
when he was pretending he was that salesman. Oh, it was the first season of SNL.
Was it with
Yeah.
Bassomatic? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Bassomatic was great. Life could be funnier
It
is
could
all I
be.
guess we're saying right now. It could be funnier and more meaningful and less fucking stupid. Stop doing stupid shit. Solve some problems.
I mean,
Um
funny things do happen every day. I had some bizarre things. I don't think they'll translate well into a story. I went to a party and overall it was a hell of a lot of fun. A lot of people were really cool there, but you always have one or two strange interactions and you're just like, what TV show am I in? And when can I leave? And Is there an audience laugh track? Because I'm very, very confused right now.
Yeah, there really ought to be. Why hasn't Alan Funt run out and saying, "You're on Candid Camera"?
Yes,
Also, kids, go look
and
that
then
up.
there's
It's
always that
from What
moment
the
of,
Fuck You're
why is
Talking
this
About.
woman walking by and keep touching my butt?
And on that note, I have a meeting. I do. I have a meeting I need to go to. But
No, I
on
know.
that note,
All right, bye. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
hey, yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, I think that's the best way to end this. Is like let's just leave all of it in and buy a mug. All right, gotta go.
All right, I'll see you later.
Portland is also
Later.
on Facebook and
Bye.
Instagram. And we have event listings and updates on our website, progressportland.org. There's a content form on our website if you'd like to help out or have questions or comments. Our theme music is by the Portland band Helvetia.